Prince and Kiss, so they made their radio debut back here many moons ago. Since then they've had 2 #1 albums, 1 a Brit Award, been nominated for a Grammy. Bastille coming up after this.
The Six Nations across the BBC.
And that is a fantastic try.
A thrilling championship concludes this weekend.
Kicks for the post and it goes over.
Let's settle it on the pitch.
That is top class.
The final day of the 2017 Six Nations, kicking off with Scotland versus Italy. This afternoon from 12:10 live on BBC One.
We were just talking about that as the trial played out. So that was your first ever session?
Yeah, it was here.
What are you saying, Dan? You were practicing at your mum and dad's house?
Yeah, we were terrified.
That's so nice.
I get bad stage fright, but I was particularly awful back then. And I remember we were at my mum and dad's house beforehand, just going through it in my bedroom, and yeah, it was terrifying. But it turned out all right.
I think it's gone pretty well since then.
Is back, so that's good.
Do you still get stage fright? I remember I saw you at Glastonbury this year, and you were just about to go on stage, which always freaks me out because I always think that sort of acts. The lovely thing about Glastonbury is everyone just gets grouped together in a selection of fields in southwest England, and you sort of you bump into the most random people. And I bumped into you, and you were I think you were playing in like half an hour, and I was just thinking, why are you here? I'd be backstage freaking out. But you said then you were kind of like, well, I'm going on, we're a bit nervous. And I thought that's quite odd because I get, with live telly and stuff, I understand nerves, but you must do it so much that...
I think that the great thing with us is because from when we saw you, we've kind of played in pubs and small venues and kind of worked our way up quite naturally, I think. So that's been quite good, and also doing it with friends in the same crew the whole time, it's made it easier, and I guess I've got used to it in a way. But a show like Glastonbury, playing on the other stage, or a big headline show, I think it brings it all back.
Sure,
I guess in a good way. I think
there's something about, though, I imagine the Whites of the Eyes gigs, the 200, 300 people that are just right at the front of the stage, looking intently at you, hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Is that more nervous than?
I mean, you're well within bottle throwing range.
There's less of a barrier. Yeah. I love those shows though, because that's where we started out, and we did one last year under a different name in a tiny little venue, and it was brilliant. It was sweaty. I like kind of spending as much of the gig not on stage as possible, and kind of getting in the crowd. So that was, it's kind of great.
Did anyone turn up not knowing it was you?
I don't think by the end. It was the guys who put the show on for us did a not so subtly worded description of the gig, basically just referencing volcanic disasters in ancient Italy and that sort of stuff. And people kind of had to figure that out.
A very important day in France. So who did you play under?
Well, our album is called Wild World, so we went under really subtly Chaos Planet. Which it wasn't. It didn't trick.
You sort of like looking back, going, "Why did we do that? Why did we just everyone there knew we're Bastille. We know we're Bastille. It was
the sweaty. It was probably the hottest gig any of us collectively and anyone we worked with was ever at. To the point where people were kind of leaving, coming back, and we had to stop the gig twice. People were fainting and being to open the doors.
The best gigs I've ever been to are the gigs where bands who have started small and gone big come back and play small. They're just because there's something about you guys as a band that feels like, wow, this is kind of back to the roots.
Yeah.
And something about the crowd that you witness at the moment, there's something special.
It was really fun, and I think for us as well, like you said, it was kind of a bit of a reset before our second album came out to kind of go back to where we came.
They're the ones you always remember, I think. So listen, let's have some music. What are you going to do for us first?
We're going to play our new single. It's called Glory, and this is the first time.
Now, we'd like to just say thank you to all the Bastille fans, because I think you put something on social media probably about 6 o'clock. Now, I don't know that the Bastille fans will be up normally at 6 o'clock, so I imagine they've been waiting for some time. So I'd like to apologise. I know we've got 20 minutes of the show left, but thank you for bearing with us. Over to you.
Deep in a corner of the night, we were lying in the middle of the road, counting the planes as they flew by, inconceivable, imagining them go. And drunk we set the world to rights as we fell and hit our heads upon the curb. You make me laugh until I die. Can you think of any better way to choke? Stories told to me and stories told to you. And did you ever feel like they were ringing true? And all their words for glory, well, they always sounded empty when we're looking up for heaven, looking up for heaven. And way down here upon the ground when we're lying in the dirt, there's no looking up for heaven, looking up for heaven. Not everything had gone to plan, but we made the best of what we had, you know. Passing the drink from hand to hand, we admit we really know nothing at all. Stories told to me and stories told to you. And was it feeling real? And were they ringing true? And all their words for glory, well, they always sounded empty when we're looking up for heaven, looking up for heaven. And way down here upon the ground when we're lying in the dirt, there's no looking up for heaven, looking up for heaven. I'll take my chances on the curb here with you. We watch the planes leave us behind on the curb here with you. We watch the planes leave us behind, and then you put your hand in mine and pull me back from things divine. Stop looking up for heaven, waiting to be buried. And all their words for glory, well, they always sounded empty when we're looking up for heaven, looking up for heaven. And way down here upon the ground when we're lying in the dirt, there's no looking up for heaven, looking up.
Love that. That's Gloria, new song from Bastille from the album Wild World, which is out last September, which is still out now. That was lovely, guys. Hey,
Thanks.
Carl, what's the deal? Does Dan come sometimes and just, because I noticed there, like, because you're on keys.
I'm on, well, yeah, I
And
try
then-
and be.
and
As
then-
much as I can be when Dan is on the keys.
Right, so then does Dan just come and sort of, because you were both playing the keys there, does Dan
Yeah.
just sort of, because officially you are the keys guy, so does Dan just sort of come and just go, I want to go on keys.
I mean, when
Let's play this together.
when Dan puts his mind to something, you can't stop him.
Right.
You know, so you just got to deal with
Is
it.
it weird the first time that happened? You were sort of just playing keys and he came up next to you and
It's
started
quite
playing.
nice. The proximity is quite nice.
Yeah.
You know, like during the song, I can touch him on the leg. No one notices.
Do you ever
Touch on the leg, yeah.
use your right hand and he uses his left hand and you play the same song? Do you ever-
It's like playing chopsticks when you're a kid.
But maybe we should do that. Maybe the next one.
Yeah.
Maybe the next one we'll do that.
That's good.
That'd
You
be
guys,
I mean, the piano's a big, cumbersome instrument. You should make the most of it, right? Fit as many people on as you possibly can.
talking about your keyboard in a quite derogatory way. I hope you
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Yeah, it's fine.
A big cumbersome instrument. It's not fair, is it? It's a lovely, nimble instrument. The Nord Stage 2 EX. Other synthesizers are available. I have to say. Just back from St. Petersburg. What are the Russian fans like?
They were, I think, very appreciative that we were there. It was kind of amazing. We did a festival in the remotest part of Russia a few years ago. We've not really been and played shows in Moscow or St. Petersburg before, so everyone was very, very happy with there. Very generous with presents
That's
and
nice.
a lot of pictures and art and things.
Did you get to spend time in the cities? Could you go and...
Yeah, we had 2 days in Moscow and 2 days in St.
Oh,
Petersburg.
wonderful.
Yeah, and regardless of anything, they are very beautiful places.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
very beautiful people, very beautiful places. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
wonderful people. Everyone was lovely, and it was, it in some ways feels like, because the architecture feels like a completely different world, and I think we just loved it. We had such an interesting time there.
I was in Helsinki last year. You must have played in Helsinki.
Yeah.
I suppose. Now Helsinki, I'm told when I was there, was modelled. The same architect designed St. Petersburg, and then modelled some from St. Petersburg into Helsinki. I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess St. Petersburg was, they say, is kind of much more European looking.
Right.
And we sort of did a kind of Baltic tour, and it was just that part of the world, sort of more Eastern Europe. A lot of the cities just have, you sort of feel like you're stepping into a different time, because there's so much sort of old architecture.
Yeah.
The old towns in particular, it really felt like a time warp, and it was very cool.
Well, I guess it's different because you go to a sort of a big metropolitan city like London, and you see the glass next to the old Victoriana or the old Georgian buildings. Where there, it always feels, like you said, my wife's Norwegian, so I go to Norway a lot, and it feels far more preserved in that regard. So second album, it struck me as quite strange that you still decided to make it in a sort of windowless studio, where after the first album you must have had your choice of the Catskills or the Sierra Nevadas or somewhere nice and kind of rural, or but you went Rocky IV, you went old school. You went back to the room.
I think we've been so lucky to travel and spend a lot of time touring, and I think that's one thing that we didn't really expect when we made the first record, was that it would take us away to these amazing places, but for so long. So I think we collectively, we sort of love being in the UK, we love being home, we love being in London, and I think it felt really important to us if we were going to have some time to spend it here and not go anywhere. And also I think, Mark, the producer that we work with, it was, we very much wanted to grow and develop as a band, but with him, rather than being like, right, let's go and find someone, whatever. Sure.
It's funny, isn't it? It's the kind of, it's a weird one, that. I see a lot of bands that they, you do well, and first album does well, and then it's that kind of, there's a great line in The Road to Perdition where Paul Newman turns around to Tom Hanks and said, "This is a life we chose, Michael." And it's so true, because, you of course you want to go and see the world, and it's wonderful, but touring, there is a downside to touring, and it does take you away from your friends and family, and no one would ever change that, but at the same time it must be lovely to come home.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we'd never remotely even like edge onto complaining about it, but it is interesting to just be away. And there's loads of jobs that take people away from home, and obviously this is not a job, it's ridiculous what we do, we're so lucky, but just being away for long times, things change when you're away, and we like to be back as much as we possibly can. But it was nice to make the album there. It was, it's like that little studio it might not have any ventilation, it might not have any natural light, but it's home for us, and there's a bus that goes from my front door to outside the studio, so that's pretty handy.
Well, now I get one.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you going to do for us next?
We're going to do a cover.
Did you do this in karaoke last night?
I was at karaoke. I was.
But you didn't play this in karaoke?
Well, basically, I left early to be good and fresh for this morning. And as I was leaving, everybody was like, to send me off, did this song. And basically, I was there last night being like, "This is." I've got a clip of it on my phone.
And you're sober as well, so
I was very sober, and also hearing it with the proper track behind it, and a 20-strong choir of mainly Irish people singing it very loudly. It was. It made me nervous.
Very good.
So this is like the opposite version. Of that.
Let's not even announce it. Let's just play it.
Right.
All right. Over to you. It's Bastille.
I could stay awake just to hear you breathing, watch you smile while you were sleeping. Well, you're far away from dreaming. I could spend my life in this sweet surrender and just stay lost here in this moment forever. Well, every moment spent with you is a moment I treasure. I don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I'd miss you I'm wondering what you're dreaming, wondering if it's me you're seeing. And then I kiss your eyes and thank God we're together. I just wanna stay with you in this moment forever, forever and ever. I don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I'd miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing. 'Cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream will never do, 'cause I'd miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing. I don't wanna miss one smile, I don't wanna miss one kiss. Well, I just wanna be with you, right here with you, just like this. I just wanna hold you close, feel your heart so close to mine, and stay here in this moment for all the rest of time. Ooh, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Oh, I feel fine. Of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. I feel fine. I don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I'd miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing. Even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream will never do, 'cause I'd miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing. It's the end of the world as we know it.
Check you out with a Jive Bunny mega mix. R.E.M. and Aerosmith. Bastille, thank you so much. It was lovely. Wow, this is incredible. Thanks for making my cake deliveries late as I sit in my van listening and feeling weepy, says Ashley in Edinburgh. Oh, my days, Dermot.
Good weepy?
Yeah, I guess. Late cake weepy. They need to release that cover. It's amazing, says Alison in London. Guys, thank you so much. Charlie, you got a lovely voice.
Thank you very
Lovely.
much.
More respect for Charlie, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's by far the best singer in the band.
Yeah, very good.
Behave.
Not just a sellsword. This guy knows his stuff. It's terrific stuff, Charlie.
Thank you.
What's up next, chaps?
We, on Thursday, are heading to the US and North America for a couple of months to tour all over, so which we're quite excited about.
Yeah, I bet. Listen, best of luck with it.
Thanks
Safe
so much for
travel.
having us again.
Great to have you back.
Cheers,
really
man.
appreciate you coming in today.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Bastille.
Thank you.